Good morning, everybody. Time for a little recap here, posted up. So today, pretty gnarly sell down here after hours after the all-time high CPI pump. And man, was that a very big one. So let's talk a little bit about it. So yesterday's trade action with that CPI forcing up, what we usually like to do here is we like to high-low fib that candle. So we got the 730 jobs data candle here, and it is fantastic for a Fibonacci. I don't think I could have planned it any better myself. So the 666, as you see right here, here's your fib box, right? Moved up to the 1618, 2618, 4236, and the 666 magical extension here that I like so much. You can notice where the top of the market was yesterday, 530.61, right at that 666. So one of the big key takeaways is we will be coming down to the CPI's fib box again because we don't have a golden pocket tag. So if you are familiar with this channel or how are we trade here, I look for a golden pocket tag. So if this is your fib box on the high low of the CPI 5-minute candle, that's right here. We need it to break into that 100, right, and come to the golden pocket. It's in between the 38.20 to the 61.8. We did not have that tag yesterday pre-market for the CPI. So there's a very big danger of this coming back down and coming into that 522.60s area very soon. So today, another day today. So let's get into what we did today on the Qs. So we had the jobs data today. So what I did was I fibbed out the jobs data here, high-low like always. We'll move that over to the right. We'll get the regular colored here along with the high-low of yesterday, obviously, and that's where the gold levels are going to come in. So not to confuse anybody with all the fib markings. Yesterday's high-lows, obviously the all-time high, is a high-low Fibonacci in the gold, okay? So we'll be talking about that, and we'll be talking about it mixed in with the jobs data here, and that's just the high-low of the 5-minute, right? Again, at 7:30 a.m., so central for my time. So what you see here is a little bit of an interesting rollback down here on the Qs, okay? So we had that fib box, which is looking real good, real solid on that 5-minute, and then we kind of broke out of there. We just had this ugly consolidation. Now, you notice this ugly consolidation is in between the gold levels of the daily high-low we just discussed. So 526.87 to 527.60, okay? That golden level right here, you can see the golden pocket of the daily high-low yesterday is right here, okay? And then what we did is we were looking for that long today back to the golden pocket because very similar to the CPI candle that we had just covered, the jobs data also, if you notice that 5-minute there and zoom in, we don't have any candles into the golden pocket of creation of the candle. So when this 5-minute box was created, we never got back in and tagged the 50 fib, the golden pocket, right? 529.91. So when that happens, I generally look for a retrace back to the Fibonacci center, unless it's a CPI blowout like yesterday. But today was no different. So out of the fib box range, as you can see here, price action chopped in between the daily golds like we just discussed, dropped into the 1618, which is our first extension, and usually we look for the long after that. 526.49 was that bottom. We also came into that nice -2 VWAP area, creating lots of support. We finally snapped back up after a fresh low scam, right? So if something's going to base and hit resistance over and over, it's going to fresh low, then reverse, right? Trap the shorts that chase. So it popped up and then ran into the golden pocket that we had discussed. And then we had some pretty good over-under metrics here. So it was just a very big consolidation. And the couple longs that I did here for us were inside the fib range and up, okay? So again, it revolves on the fib box. Anything over 527.28, we were going to go long into the golden pocket and then fill up the fib range because a lot of the price action does not like to leave this 5-minute candle open. So this is the whole fib box right here of that 5-minute high-low of the job 730 candle. So once we are inside said box, we will consolidate and utilize 527.28, which is the bottom of the data candle, right? And we use that for an over-under level. Once we break into it, we generally go right to the golden pocket. So that was a good long. And then we guaranteed anything above that golden pocket here was going to stretch its legs into the 1-minute 666 and the 5-minute 200. They're relatively close here. But we wanted to fill up that top. So if I go to that 1 minute here, we had called this long right here, and I said we have all the room in the world to kind of push back up here. So we went through some breakdowns, and I told my team to look for a continued long up to the 666, and we were done for the day. That was long. So we had a beautiful couple 30 and 60 and 70 point calls all with that. And then when I left my crew, I said, wait for the next reset long, and I want to get back up to pre-market open, pre-market high potentially. So But it needs a reset, and this is what a reset looks like, right? So we come to our long target. I get off stream at about 10 a.m. here on the premium group. Then it starts to kind of break back down, right? So we see the RSI kind of giving up the 50 waypoint, so we're underneath. The 5 minute's going to look a lot better. Let's go to that real fast here so we can dive into a little cleaner oscillation indicator. So the 5 minute here for that breakdown, we could never really get extension hot, but the MACD was really helping us out here. So we'll go back down right here for that resistance play that snapped under 10. I said we needed a reset. Don't long anything here. Wait for it to pull back and then go again. And the reset in the indicators happens. So you see the backside of the MACD here, moving average crossing about 1030, came all the way back down. And what did we defend? Same old level that we just discussed, 527.28, which is the 5 minute high low from the jobs candle, right? 7:30 a.m. Central. So it defended that very well, which is our over under, and that was our reset long position. So I told everybody to wait for that reset, comes down, hits again, boom, VWAP, which is our purple dash line here, the biggest level that I said to use at all-time highs as always, and then to the +2. Now I wanted to get a little higher than that, but we missed it by a little bit. Then SPY really started diving off a cliff here end of the day. So if you take a peek here at the SPY, okay, I'll just change it manually since it won't minimize for me here. It's leading to that downside where you see Qs not at fresh lows of the day, and you see the SPY at fresh lows and cracking here just a little bit under consolidation. So same candle applies for SPY here as well. So we can cover that just fast. Went down to the 1618, full fib retrace, made it to the long, and then extra weakness. You can see where it broke back down here. Small wave on the TTM. I'm sorry, the MACD, not the TTM. So we had just lots and lots and lots of movement to solidify and just lock us into that weakness, right? We had the small MACD changeover wave, the RSI. They couldn't quite make it, broke under that 50. And then, of course, some very, very ugly topping action there, as you notice that the rejection point here right at about 606.90. Right ahead of 607, right? And that's still all lower high territory. So a lot of the time in those pullbacks, you buy those dips, you grab the higher low, and we look for 3 up moves, right? Kind of like we had here. We had a big move up in the front, 2, pullback, 3. Things love to come in 3s in the market. So if we go back here, show you another nice little 3 up that we had here. Go back down to the minute chart because we always love to day trade that fancy minute chart. So this was another kind of structured 3 up that we had seen on the Qs for that move that just came into resistance. It was perfectly fine. So once we failed here, we had the first push, second push, third push, right? And it kind of topped off there into that +2 VWAP and just wasn't feeling it. And I did discuss a little bit here with my team beforehand where I said, you know, a lot of the time we're going to have no RSI tags like we see back here. Make sure my fat head's not in the way. So when we come into the RSI, for the most part of that morning, it never actually got over hot. And that was another big reason where I said we're going to have another big rip run up because the RSI kind of never went hot. And that just gives you just an opening, right? There's no guarantee here. There's no crystal ball saying, oh, it didn't go hot today. It's guaranteed to go up. It's something to keep in mind for catalyst and sentiment, saying if we do find the retraction point, came back down and started going long again, at least we can look for those RSI points to become hot, and we still have room to go a little bit more. And then, of course, into the +2 VWAP here because we use the deviation +2 out, -2 out. Purple is center. Notice that tag right there into resistance and couldn't quite get any higher than that. Notice the topping action there, and the cross came back down. And now we're getting some nice loose moves. So today being Thursday and then Friday being a potential sell day, now for the prediction, we will look for underneath that Fibonacci zone. So what I generally look for here, especially on the Qs, this is the front runner. SPY is not at all-time highs. Qs was the one at all-time high yesterday, and this is one that kind of front ran up. The entire trade plan is consisted of this engulfed candle right now breaking down. So we have the all-time high candle fibbed out in the gold. We can remove the jobs just for now. We can see a little easier. And this is that Friday CPI high-low box that we were talking about earlier in the purple. So what we're going to see here for the prediction, we're going to see that high-low all-time high candle, and the golden pocket has already been tagged. So anything, if it stays under that top golden pocket, so between 527.59 to 528.30, that's the golden pocket top end, right above the 50. So in between the 38.20 this time and 50. And then we are pointing to the downside on the fibs. So if this breaks down, so again, under yesterday's body and under the golden pocket, thus losing 527.40 area here, we could open up and come down pretty healthily to come all the way back to, as we discussed earlier, the CPI's no golden pocket tag, because when the CPI box was created down here, it just did a runaway. We have no back test here. So the algos will drag this back down to 522.60s. We're not saying it's going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen in the next 5 minutes here or the end of the day, but into the Friday sell potential, we do have a very good opportunity. So let's talk VIX real fast. At the end here for that prediction, I think we're going to continue down on here on Friday a little bit. In the volatility index, let's take just a quick peek here. The MACD is looking healthy. The RSI is looking healthy. We're looking for that 50 point of interest, higher lows. We're looking at that higher low riding the 10 SMA right now. Anybody that tells you that they can't do TA on the VIX is just a silly willy. They just don't know how to do it. Trust me, this stuff works very clean. We have multiple gaps to the upside that we're going to be working on closing. We have one gap up here. I have it on the other chart. We can just make it on this chart as well. But this 5 minute gap, we use this on the 5 day, 5 minute, and the deviations. All these are gaps that were open prior and then closed obviously today, the last day. So when it came down and chased these gaps and closed out a lot of the gaps that we had needed to see, we actually left a lot of the gaps up on top, which is now giving the volatility index opportunity to chase down these gaps. Now, again, a lot of these were filled here. They're just not deleted yet, but we can back test ones that are not. There we go. Deleted. So we have them as high as 1437 and even higher than that. Unfilled gap 1556, 1603. So we will be having a good chance, especially at max support on the volatility index. What does that big support look like? -1 standard deviation. This is what we use on the VIX a lot of the time, the 5 day deviation. But right here, you can see the daily and weekly deviations coming in right here. So if the deviation line right here is center in the white, this is the -1 in the yellow, -2 for oversold in the green. So we're kind of looping price action right here on the VIX on that -1, looking to break back up. And of course, we have the giant daily gap that is still unfilled all the way up to 2019 or 2021, 2020-ish, $20.19. So we will be attacking that daily gap at some point. The MACD is looking pretty good right now on the slice of the VIX. And everything's kind of moving with that momentum. So let's see if we get the sell day or if it's a weekend thing where it comes out with some kind of popped up news on the weekend, war-oriented, Trump-oriented, crypto-oriented, whatever it happens to be, we'll be ready. So if you want to trade live with us, we do it every single morning, 8 a.m. Central. We got me and my partner Connor on the stream. We walk ourselves through trades. We have entries. We have exits. We have a big Discord. And we have a big community that is extremely talented. So if you want to join us up and that sounds good, the link is in the description. If not, we'll see you in the next YouTube video. Take care.